Okay, welcome to the Life Codes Masterclass, everyone. It's so beautiful to see so many of you. People are still joining. We have Lenore from Tulum, Sarah from Slovenia, we've got Shannon from Canada, Wendy from Philadelphia, Louise from Cornwall. We've got Amira from Dubai. Hey, beautiful Amira, so good to have you here. Glennis from South Africa, Louise Como, Samaya from California, Petra from Costa Rica. We've got some beautiful people here. It's so good to have you all here. And everyone is joining. I wish I didn't have to have a waiting room and everyone could just join, but they are all here. Nikki, would you mind if I made you co-host and you can let people in as they join? Would that be okay if I did that? It would be super helpful if you were able to let people in as they join. Okay. So we are going to create some magic today. Kim from Nova Scotia. Wow, where is that in the world? I love how the internet allows us to connect all over the world. It's truly amazing. I'm just so grateful. So if you can have your video on, it's amazing because it's so beautiful to connect with everyone and see your beautiful faces if you can. I know it's not everyone is always able to do that, but if you can, that's amazing. And Nikki, I've made you co-host. If you're able to admit people when they join, that would be super helpful if that's okay. I would so appreciate that. So you just see them at the top and admit them. Okay, we are going to drop into some magic and to some life codes and to some nervous system regulation. And I want to thank you first for showing up, because so many people register for these things and they don't follow through and they don't show up. So I really want to honor you for being here, because when we invest, one of my codes is when I invest in myself, the return on investment is quantum. It's exponential. And that has been something that I have really lived into this past year, investing in myself, investing in the trainings, in the masterminds, in the containers that I've been in my daily practices. So when we invest, the return on investment can be pretty extraordinary when we truly invest. So well done for being here and showing up. Okay, Canada, Kim, that's in Canada, awesome. So let's drop in and set up the field, set up the energy of the field. So if everyone wants to just close their eyes and just allow yourself to really drop in, take a deep breath and just call all your energy bodies back home. You don't have to know what that means, but just call all of yourself back to yourself from wherever you've been. And just noticing where you are in your body, what's happening for you, how you're feeling, what's going on. And just bringing yourself into this moment. We're calling in our higher selves to guide and lead this amazing portal and activate the energy field. And any other beautiful angels or beings of light that want to be in this portal with us. And I'm making the choice to serve your heart with love and truth and receive information in service to your soul as we journey together in this portal, activating magic, tuning into one or more of you if I can, and really allowing this field to activate you regardless of whether I work with you or not. My intention is to truly create a quantum field that awakens and activates you into your power and magic as much as we possibly can in 90 minutes. So the first thing I want to share with you is the shift that really getting the frequency and the energy of life codes, that I call them, and the difference between a goal, an end result, a choice that we have, and a code that we hold. So I've spent many years, worked over 10 years now, working with clients and creating choices and end results. And it gets results, obviously. People transform, people create and bring in what they want to manifest, and magic happens. But since I've started working with people and amplified, because of the investments I've made, because of the containers I've been in, because of my commitment to my evolution and the expansion that I've experienced, I have, of course, embodied that and brought that into my work. And so the difference between holding a code, so for me, what a code really embodies is an end result and a choice potentially, but it's a value and it's a way of being. And this forms the foundation from which you are able to create your life from. And I'm going to give you examples, and I'm also going to choose one of you to actually tune into to really experience this in real time. So you get to feel it in the field. You get to actually experience what I'm talking about and not just understand it intellectually. So one of the things that often happens when we're going for what we would love to create in the world, and I've had a journey, and I want to tell you a bit of a story that really helps to demonstrate some of this. So I've experienced 30 years of healing from chronic health issues. And from the age of 17, my biggest passion, my biggest drive was to be living my purpose. I wanted to know what my purpose was. I was trying to find it. I was trying to discover why I'm here, what I'm here to do. And when I wasn't doing that, and when I was in the times where I was sick and I was bedbound and it was really tough to even think straight, I couldn't even walk sometimes, the pain of not being able to live my purpose was what drove me to heal, was what drove me to find the answers. And when all of the physical, practical things and every doctor under the sun and practitioner wouldn't work, I had to turn to spirituality. I had to turn to a more quantum energetic dimension to unravel what was going on for me. And I'm still on my healing journey. But what has happened in the process is that it's activating my codes. It's activating my purpose. And what I discovered was that my purpose was not something that I would find. It was something that I would become. And that gave me truth bumps. So I need to write that one down. That needs to be one of my codes. So our purpose is not something we find, it's something we become. And what that meant was that my healing journey became one of my greatest teachers. So the challenges that you have are your greatest teachers when you allow them to be not in the way, but become the way. So what happened as I kept trying to build my business, and I did, I've coached for over 10 years, and my coaching practice, my coaching business has always been consistent. I've never promoted my work. I've always had referrals, recommendations, have met people, had conversations, people messaging me. It's been such an incredible experience of being able to really navigate life in a way that is, there's an ease to that because it's my genius, because it's natural, because I'm aligned to that. When I had my genius downloads and insights to create my online platform where I share amazing products and went into more online trainings, I launched my business in 2020 when COVID just started. And within a year, I did $250,000, and I never actually officially launched the business. I didn't do anything on social media, and it blew my mind what was possible. And because I was in my genius, because of the codes I was holding, there was an ease to that creation. But what eventually happened was that my nervous system was not able to hold what I had created. I wasn't able to take it to the level that I wanted to take it to. And there was some deeper work that I needed to do, which is what I've been doing this whole year, to enable my nervous system, I had to train and understand the nervous system. I had to learn to regulate it, because I literally would go into collapse. And I don't know if any of you have experienced this, where you're rocking it, you're creating magic, you are, you're doing well, and then you hit a point where you can't seem to go further. There seems to be like this invisible threshold, whether it's in business, finances, relationships, health, whatever it might be. It's like there's a threshold that you can't get past. And so my nervous system kept limiting my ability to create more. And so what I had to do was I had to learn to rewire my nervous system. I had to learn to co-regulate, self-regulate, and activate my system in a way that could hold more of me, more of my magic, more of what I'm here to create. And a part of that was the codes that I held. So I had a big part of one of the codes I was running around my health is that what is supposed to help me makes me worse, because that was my experience. And so that really didn't serve me. And trying to create choices and results, codes, whatever we want to call them, in reaction to something we don't have, or from the frequency of lack, there's a shadow energy that comes in. And I'm going to demonstrate this for you with someone in the group. So when I tried, for example, to create a code around my health and healing, saying I am healthy and vital and I feel amazing, felt completely out of alignment for me. I couldn't buy into that. I had so much, like, the part of me going, that's not true. So it's not about seeing what your shadow stuff is, or what you're lacking and what you want, and then having the opposite, because it actually reinforces the very thing you're trying to avoid. So one of the codes I hold around my health is actually around my body. So one of the codes is that my body is miraculous. Now, when I say that, I literally get truth bumps in my body, because that's a truth for all of us, that our body is miraculous. But if I try and say my body is healthy and strong and vibrant, the unconscious part of me can't align with that, and I can't hold that. But when I say my body is miraculous, it's like, yes, it is. And so as I hold these new codes, I draw in the right people, the right information, the next level support that allows me to embody the miraculousness of my body. So then I got guided into the most extraordinary Qigong master that I've been training online with for the last 3 months, which is radically shifting my health and my perception of my relationship with my body. So it's really important that we understand the distinction between creating a vision, an end result, a goal, a code from lack and from our shadow, versus creating it in service of our highest aligned truth. So that's what we're really going to be going into today, because I want you to feel this, and you might have felt it from me sharing those codes, but what I would love you to experience is when we're working with someone live, I want you to feel the journey we're going to go on with this beautiful soul, and feel the energy of when we hit on the real gold, when we hit into that real truth of their code that is aligned to them. And there are codes we can share. There are codes, like one of the codes that I hold, which I really love, is I am supported always in all ways. And I love that. And it's one of those that some people can resonate with and go, I love that. And other people will be like, that doesn't feel aligned for me. And, so it's like it's depending on your shadow coding, depending on your wounding, depending on your trauma, will depend on what's aligned to you and what isn't. So that's what we're going to be diving into today. And then tomorrow we're going to be going into more magic around your genius. And throughout, we're going to be looking at the nervous system, but we're going to be going more into the 3 operating systems of the nervous system tomorrow, which is super powerful. And it's what allows you to hold these, because the practices I do on a daily basis and the lifestyle I live prioritizes my nervous system. And before, I didn't even know that. I used to take care of myself and do, look after myself. But nervous system regulation is an awareness. It's a new paradigm. It's a way of really understanding what's going on and recognizing and bringing yourself back, because I was so disassociated that I didn't even know that I was until I came back to myself. And that was through soul retrieval. That was through many different aspects. And there's lots of ways we can regulate our nervous system. One of the most powerful ways that I've found, apart from the physical energy practices, which I'm going to share some with you in these 3 days, one of the most powerful has actually been reclaiming the disowned parts of myself. Because that's the parts of us that are fragmented because of past experiences or trauma. That's what's getting triggered and dysregulating our nervous system a lot of the time, especially when we want to step up and create more magic. So our ability to recognize and track our disowned parts and be able to come into co-regulation and self-regulation is really important. Okay, any questions so far? Put them in the chat box if you have any questions. So I'm going to work with someone live, and I'm going to support you all. So what I would love you to do during this experience is really feel I'm glad you're loving it, Kim, is really feel the field. I want you to feel the field. I want you to feel the person. I want you to feel into the energy of what we're working on and be a part of. We're going to be getting clear on their codes. We're going to be looking at, so I'm going to ask someone to connect with what's most alive for you right now. What are you working on, whether it's business, relationships, wealth, whatever it is. And we're going to dive into that, and we're going to unravel what the shadow side of that is, and then get into the core of that magic. And I've got no idea how this will unfold. When I've done this before live with a group, sometimes we go straight into the magic and there's no shadow stuff around that because they've dealt with a lot of that. And other times we can't even fully get to the code because there's a lot of trauma in relation to that one. So it really does depend on what's going on for the person as to what unfolds in the field. So we are co-creating this energy. Your presence here, your commitment, you being here is part of the alchemy that gets co-created in this space. And that's what is so powerful about coming together as a group and really understanding what's going on for you as we're doing this experience, and getting your own insights around this, but also being able to be there and hold the space for this beautiful person that is here. Okay, so I'm going to tune in and really feel into who would serve the group in the most powerful way. And there's a couple of people that I've been feeling into as I've been just here. And it's interesting that you put your hand up, Louise, because you are actually the one that I was feeling that I just felt like you would really serve the group in tuning in. So let's do that. And if I have time to do someone else, I will. If I don't, we've got another 2 days after this. So that's cool. Okay, so Louise, if you want to unmute.
Am I unmuted?
There we go.
Hello. Hello, everybody.
Hi, Louise. Great to have you on here. Thank you for your courage, and everyone here is supporting you and holding space for you, because this is a vulnerable experience being coached live. So thank you for stepping in and putting your hand up. And it's interesting that you put your hand up, because I was already connecting with your energy. So I would love for you to just briefly share in like a minute or two, so not too long, just where you're at, what you would love to tune into specifically. and what kind of code you would love to get clarity around: health, relationships, business, your magic, your genius, whatever it may be, and then we'll dive right into that.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. I love what you've just been saying about, just that actually it's the way, instead of fighting what's going on, that actually that could be the substance, that could be the code itself. And I think I said earlier that I've never been ill in my life. I had a Kundalini experience when I was 40, and I'm 62 now. That was a long time ago. So that was chronic insomnia, but this is now my bladder, which is not infected, but it feels like an infection. It's gone on for a year. So it's a real shock to me to have to sort of deal with this. And like you, nothing medically has worked. What has worked is my own intuition, in that I've applied castor oil and castor oil packs, and it takes the pain away, and it takes the discomfort, and it takes the sort of pissing for England away. Sorry, guys, but that's what's been going on. And it's just it's wreaked havoc with my day, but I've got to the point where I could be quite normal, and then it kicks off again. Tangential to that, I don't know what I want to work on, because I thought it was business. And of course, I'm trying to, I've taken time for myself to do the inner healing and get in contact with myself, and to just be strong in myself rather than listen to the doctors and even, naturopathic therapists. It's just like you, I'm going to my higher self, and it's producing amazing results.
Okay.
And I thought I had something new to bring to my work. When I've worked in dowsing and I clear energy, and I think in very many respects, if you put a label on either of us, I think I'm doing something very similar to you, obviously in a very different way. And I'm not trying to compare myself. I'm just trying to give you, a profile of myself. So, my business, I moved to where I am now in Lew, Cornwall, about 16 months ago. And I left London in 2007. And to try, I've not been, I don't think that I'm not reached my potential in terms of working online. I used to work one-to-one with people, face-to-face. So there's that, I'm wanting to get in front of the right people. Is that too much information?
No, that's cool. No, that's good. So what I would love us to do is really focus on firstly, let's get some clarity on some shadow dynamics that are playing out, that are pulling you out of alignment. And then we're going to look at expanding your codes, expanding the context with which you are looking at life and with what you're going for. Because whether we have challenges around health, business, money, relationships, we often get so caught up in the energy of what we are going through, what we're experiencing, what is happening for us, that our focus becomes on trying to resolve all of that. And that's not, it's normal, but it's human. That's what our human does. Our human wants to resolve it. One of the premises of life is that tension seeks resolution, which means that this band, if it is stretched and I put tension on this band, it has to resolve itself. So it's either going to snap or it's going to come back to its original thing. Or if I let it go, it will flip across the room. Yeah. So that tension has to resolve. So when we have tension, financial tension, health tension, relationship tension, whatever it might be, that tension wants to resolve itself, and our human wants to fix that. So it wants to know, it wants to understand, it wants something to do to fix it. Now, when we do that, we are limiting ourselves and we are resolving the tension of our circumstances rather than creating a higher frequency portal that literally shifts us to another dimension of what we're here to create and who we're here to be. Yeah. So there's definitely some dynamics going on here, some shadow stuff going on around health and healing. But what I'm really sensing is that there is, and this has been the same for me on my journey, I've been aligned to my purpose to a certain level, but just like if we are looking, I used to do this with my dad. I used to look at the stars through a telescope. And if we are one tiny millimeter off down here, we're going to be a gazillion miles away out up there. So we can be pretty on our path, aligned with our purpose. But if we're just slightly off, we can be quite a way off in terms of the magic and the impact we're here to create. And I have a feeling that what's going on for you is that there is a misalignment. There's a slight misalignment with the work that you're doing and let me rephrase that, not the work that you're doing, there's a whole nother level to what you're here to bring through that hasn't been activated yet. And part of the reason for that is because of there's a fragmented, there's some parts of you that are not fully activated. And so when you're sharing your magic, when you're sharing your gifts, you are coming from certain archetypal parts of you, which can create magic and you can do some great stuff. But there's other aspects of your power that haven't been fully activated. And this feels linked to what's unfolding in your health, because there's a sense of restriction. I feel like there's these compensating energies in your energy field around needing to follow the rules and have the certifications and tick the boxes in some way. And another part of you that's a rebel that doesn't want to be in any boxes, but doesn't want to be doing anything that anyone has told you to do. And those two parts of you are pulling you out of alignment, because one is going, you're an authority and you don't have what it takes unless you have all of this credibility. And the other part of you is going, you're not an authority if you have all of that, because that's not who you are. So it's like, it's pulling you like this out of alignment. And what feels really important, and I know this has been my experience with health, and I think it is a key for so many of us, our purpose is what our health serves, our purpose, which is being who we're here to be. It's not just about what we do. So when you're connected to a deeper sense of your power, your health you will naturally be guided to the right people, the right places, the right magic around your health. So, and it feels like a big part of what's going on with your health as well is energetic. There's some energy blockages. There's energy blockages, and there's some I can definitely feel some trauma in your field. So I hope everyone is really feeling this. And what we're going to do with Louise now is we're just going to drop into, tell me some words around your magic. Tell me some of the essence of who you are, what your work is about, what you sense your genius is. Just briefly, give me some words.
Unconditional freedom and unconditional innocence.
Okay, so freedom. Is that what you support people with in your work?
Carry on. I think it's what I'm working with myself, and therefore it's kind of the guidance for how I am with my clients. So I can get results with my energy clearing and dowsing that I don't really know how it happens, but I'm really willing to just completely let myself be taken over. And this is how it's always been, but I'm getting much more in contact with that sort of source energy, which is really the liberation from the sense of conditioning, rules. There are no rules but God's rules, and I really do sense that. And it's funny what you're talking about, because I also create my own facial oils and hair serums, and I've been doing them for years. And now suddenly I want to sell them publicly. And you've got to jump through a lot of hoops. It's fine. There's a part of me that really balks at it, because I created them very instinctually, and there's nothing I can't hurt anyone, you know. That's they're innately safe, because I'm innately safe.
Yeah.
So
okay,
yes,
so just pause for a second there. So we'll park the product thing. That's beautiful. And I want to get back to some of the wording that you've brought in, because this is where there is so much power in activating our codes around who we're being, because that's what our purpose is to express and transmute who we're being through our products, through our service, through the work that we do in the world, through our relationships. So I'm just playing with some words. So just feel if this lands for you and everyone else. You can feel the energy of this. Liberation, freedom, and innocence are my way of being. How does that feel?
there's a counter force, and of course, you know, it's not external to me because I've created it, but nevertheless, I've been noticing it in the last few days, you know, how much of a grip it has on me, despite my essential freedom, that it's so, I came in with this. I came in with the contractedness and chronic fear as a kid of the law. I'm sorry,
just feel it. That's what we're here. We're holding this space. This is what happens when we create a safe space, that we open up what needs to be felt. And we're all here supporting you. So just feel that and let it be okay that you're feeling it.
It's the knowing that I am the creator, and yet, you know, that the saboteur creator can really do harm, you know, and it has really done harm in my life.
Yeah. Ooh, feeling
very
that.
Young.
Yeah, and just allowing that to be there, and just know that you're safe here. We've all got you.
Thank you.
This is the work, and being witnessed in this space is part of the alchemy. This is part of healing that wound. And so can you see how when we activate the code of liberation, freedom, and innocence on my way of being, that it activates everything that's not in alignment with that to be brought up, to be healed, which is what is happening right now. So with these codes, with this energy, there is this contractedness, there is some wounding. A lot of it is ancestral. So there's some codes that need to be cut. There's some retrieval here, and there's some energy in your lineage that needs to be clear to support this. But what's so amazing is that when you hold this, and can you hold that? Can you feel that liberation, freedom, and innocence are my way of being? Or does that feel like you can't hold it yet?
I feel like it's sort of squeezed very, very tightly by almost like a sort of boa constrictor of you know, like say, you know, whether it's lineage, whether it's parenting or the abuse that went on, you know, fear of somehow being persecuted for being self, for being the innocent, for being not innocence in terms of worldly innocence, but innocence in terms of, you know, this is source energy, and that's being not accepted. It's not accepted in my family. It's not accepted. I'm not accepted by my family, really.
Okay, so this is where this is so important, and so many people probably are resonating with you here. So this is where, can you see that it's not as simple as being able to just create goals and codes and visions and end results, because of all of this stuff that gets triggered, which pulls us out of alignment, which dysregulates the nervous system and causes health issues. So there's some magic here to integrate and to support the nervous system to integrate what's being triggered here, because that's one of the first things, but also creating a code that you can hold now. So liberation, freedom, and innocence are, so for example, I'm cracking the code on liberation, freedom, and innocence. How does that feel?
Yeah.
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 Mm-hmm.
It's like making it. Okay, so this is how I see my own energy, or my own core energy. It's like an open-ended vase. So it comes in. I understand the Qigong. This is how I've done my Qigong for years. It's like goes through like the torus field. So the torus field goes through me, and it feels like when it gets to my solar plexus, when I speak good strong affirmations, that expands. But unless I'm doing that sort of a lot of the time, it naturally shrinks back, and it just literally squeezes the core of me. So I flow my own essence as such. It can quite.
Okay, so remember I said earlier, and we're going to go into this more tomorrow, we're going to be looking at archetypes. Actually, I'm not going into it a bit now, actually, because it feels like this is leading us there. So archetypes, there's different parts of our power and parts of ourselves that often get suppressed and repressed and fragmented, and this is what's really going on for you. But I'm just going to complete on working with you, and just allow yourself to hold the code of liberation. I'm cracking the code on liberation, freedom, and innocence, because I can feel that you can hold that. You can't hold liberation, freedom, and innocence on my way of being, because you can't hold that yet. That doesn't feel aligned yet, because there's this shadow integration, retrieval, clearing that needs to be done on some of these energies. But if you're cracking the code on these, and the energy and the frequency of liberation, freedom, and innocence, like that, I can feel that already is taking you up to a higher realm. You're not trying to fix anything. You're not trying to make anything better. You're literally shifting to another dimension. Can everyone feel that? Can you feel the distinction in the shift in that, the wording of that, so it could land? Because your nervous system couldn't hold the other one because it triggered trauma. This one, I'm cracking the code, doesn't trigger trauma. Can you feel the difference? And this is what's so important for everyone to get, the distinction in what we can hold right now, and what also that we can hold that's taking us to the next level of what we're here to hold. That makes sense.
This is really resonating for me, because I've done obviously the inner work to be able to shift out of ego and ego mind separation consciousness into that very expanded, loving, omnipresent, all safe energy. If fear comes up, it doesn't so much anymore, but I can move into it and hold that. But it's almost like that's almost like this sort of superlative completed me. And actually, these parts of me that are still dealing with trauma, even though I don't want to deal with trauma, I'm thinking, oh God, when's it going to be over? It's almost like it's like a verb rather than a noun in terms of my freedom. I'm freeing, and it's still as important as being freed. It's got its own sense of completion in the verb.
Yes,
I'm cracking it. Doesn't make it any less than my God self. If that makes sense.
Absolutely. And you know what's so powerful, and I hope you already get this, is whatever your version of this is, because we've all got our own versions of what Louise is going through, is that what you unlock, the codes that come through when you experience this, are part of the gifts and the magic part of the parts that you're going to reclaim as part of this journey, but also what you learn along the way are going to be what you embody. That is not something someone can just read in a book and get. So when people are in your field, when people are in your energy, they're going to experience freedom. They're going to experience innocence as you reclaim and live and embody that. And you're going to access these codes and these insights and this embodied experience that is going to be part of the work you're here to bring into the world. So this is why going into our shadow, often it's like, why did I choose this in my lifetime? But actually it's like, this is how we unlock our superpowers.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for your vulnerability and your realness, and being a beautiful demonstration of what's possible and how our shadow is so entangled in what's going on for us. And obviously what I'm about to continue to share is also going to very much be in response to what we've been working with. So you're going to get you're going to get some more answers as I go into the next part around archetypes.
Okay, thank you so much. This is great.
Pleasure. Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay.
See you in a minute.
Okay. I just need to mute that. Okay. So, any questions from what we've just experienced? I know some of you've got your hand up. I don't know if you got your hand up for questions or because you wanted me to tune into your magic. So what I wanted to go into was, I'm glad that supported you. Thank you. So what I want to go into now is I want to talk about our genius, because a big part of what is, and I will wait for Louise to get back before I talk about her. But what I really want to share is that when you think about the movies, when you think about some of the most amazing movie, and I'm sure some of you have seen the Marvel movies, the superhero movies, Superman, Iron Man, all the magic in those movies, Wonder Woman, amazing movie. And The Sorcerer's Apprentice was one that I watched recently, which was awesome. And The Sorcerer's Apprentice is a really brilliant movie that demonstrates, it's on the Disney Plus. It's a brilliant movie that demonstrates what I'm about to share, which is that we know that there is no hero without a villain. And so what villains do in the movies is they activate the hero's superpowers, because the hero has to go on a journey to discover their power in order to defeat the villain, in order to reclaim, save the world, whatever their mission is. For us, our villain is our shadow. It's the crazy world that we're living in, the 3D matrix, the government, all of the crazy stuff that's happening in the world. That's the villain that we are up against. And when we can look at it that this is here for me, this is serving me, this is activating my superpowers, it changes everything. Now, one of the things with our superpowers is that it takes time for us to embody them and master them. So in the movie The Sorcerer's Apprentice, if you haven't seen it, I'd highly recommend watching it. It's super cool. There's a moment which is, it's about Merlin and the Sorcerer's Apprentice, which is Merlin's apprentice, and this young boy that ends up discovering that that's who he is, and he's learning to master his powers. And it's very funny when you watch him trying to learn how to create fire and, do all the things he's doing. And then, of course, the real myth and the real scene for Merlin and the Sorcerer's Apprentice is all the mops and getting everything clean with the mops. So when he's practicing his powers, he starts using them for his ego, because there's a beautiful woman coming to visit and he wants to clean up. So he starts using his magic to get all the mops to start cleaning up the space. Now, of course, He then goes off and thinks, I can just leave this now. And then everything starts flooding and just turns into complete disaster. But what this beautifully demonstrates is how our magic can be used by another part of ourselves and not for the highest good. But more importantly, what this demonstrates in this movie is how important it is for us to allow ourselves to give ourselves permission to be mastering our superpowers, to be remembering them, to be practicing them, to be learning them, that it's okay to get it wrong, that it's okay that we're not mastering it and cracking it all right today. If you think about Frozen, the movie, her gift became something that she was afraid of, and she locked herself away because she didn't know how to use it, because it was creating problems. And a lot of light workers, a lot of amazing souls have a really deep sensitivity, which is our superpower. And I'm sure many of you have that, because a lot of people that get drawn into these kind of fields, we have this energy, we have this sensitivity, which is our superpower, but it feels like it is not a superpower when we get knocked out and when we can't handle certain situations or environments or people, and it gets overwhelming, because our superpower is not, we haven't learned how to master that superpower. And a big part of regulating the nervous system is helping to activate our superpowers, especially our sensitivity, because that is part of our magic, our ability to sense, to feel, to work in the energetics, to be able to regulate our nervous system is one of the greatest gifts we can give ourselves and the world, actually. And so giving ourselves permission to be learning and mastering our superpowers is one of the things that allows you to not push, not force, that allows you to naturally express your gifts and allow that organic, natural growth. So one of the aspects that really supports this is understanding your archetypes. So I'd love to hear from some of you in the chat what you know your archetypes are, what you sense these are. So by archetypes, I'm talking about the goddess, the lover, the king, the queen, the priestess, the shaman, the magician, the healer, the medicine woman, the medicine man, the musician, the artist, the architect, the creatrix, the alchemist, the empress, the queen. So really allowing yourself to feel into which parts of you feel are activated or you connect with, the inner child. So healer, musician, mother, alchemist. Yeah, of course, there's a mother archetype, priestess, healer, shaman, medicine woman. I love that, Catherine. Lenore, the priestess, the artist, the alchemist, the empress, a lot of Lilith energy, the artist, high priestess, goddess, gatekeeper, medicine woman, healer, empress is held hostage right now. Yes, Laurie, we're going to talk about that. Beautiful. Okay, so then saboteur. So then, of course, healer, priestess, Nikki, up, alchemist, the disruptor, but you feel like there's another archetype hidden. So our shadow holds our genius hostage. It holds our superpowers hostage. And the reason it does that is because of our wounds. It's because of trauma. And it's because we got hurt at some point, and that part of us, our biggest gift, our superpowers, our magic, this archetypal part of ourselves, we got hurt when that part of us was expressed, or it hasn't been able to be activated. So for instance, your empress is not going to be there when you're a little girl or a little boy, that emperor, empress, king, queen. You're going to be in the princess or the prince energy, and that needs to evolve. So there are some archetypes that will evolve over time, and there are others that we're wounded in relation to. So in terms of the shadow side, we have the victim, the saboteur, the trickster, the critic, the judge, the bully, the rebel. The rebel can also be a sacred rebel, and it can be a powerful genius archetype, but in its dysfunctional state, it can be rebellious and pull us out of doing the things that are in our highest alignment. So there's the victim, the wounded child, of course, is one of the greatest, deepest, and actually most of the other archetypes are all protecting our wounded child. And our wounded child is wounded in different ways for all of us. We're not all wounded in the same way. So when we are living from only a couple or we're creating from certain archetypes and other parts of us are not activated, these archetypes, these parts of us are not able to do what these parts can do because that's not their genius. That's not what they're here to do. Great example is you're a mother or a father. Say you're a mother energy. You don't go into the bedroom with your partner in your mother archetype or your businesswoman empress archetype. You need your goddess in the bedroom. So it's like, it's not going to work. And this is a big part of what happens in the challenges of relationships as well, is that as a leader, as a leader in the world, as a woman, a lot of women end up being that leading energy in their relationship and don't lean back and allow him to be the king, allow him to lead. So this is where really activating these different archetypes is so important, because it's what allows us to be in our power and support our nervous system. Because, and here's the magic, having lived with a lot of health challenges for so long, share your light bulb moment in the chat, Nikki. So having lived with so many health challenges for so long, there was times where I was very brain fogged and had a lot of fatigue, but I still had to show up for my clients. I couldn't keep letting them down. I needed to be there, and I still had a lot of time to rest in between. And what I had to do was hand the power over to my genius, to my priestess, to my creatrix, and the parts of me that can channel and bring through the wisdom. And I found that some of those sessions were the best sessions, even when I didn't feel great in my human was going, how can I do this? But I learned so powerfully that the part of us that doesn't know how, the part of us that is scared, the part of us that believes it needs to prove itself, or it's not worthy, or it doesn't deserve it, it's not the part that creates the magic. So the part of me that is going, I don't know how I'm going to do this, I learned how to go, I hear you and I get it, and I'm taking care of you to the best of my ability, but there's another part of me that's got this. And I would get out the way and I would activate my genius and I would let myself show up, and the magic would happen through me because another part of me was activated. So, and a big part of the work I do with people is supporting them to uncover their archetypes, discover what activates them, and part of your question was, is there a list of archetypes so you can read about them? Carolyn Mace does a lot of stuff on archetypes. I started working with archetypes intuitively when I lived in Bali about 4 or 5 years ago. And I started working with people intuitively and tuning into the archetypes. I had no training. I didn't know anything about archetypes, but I was tapping into the archetypal blueprint that's in the quantum field. So I was tuning into people's victim, people's wounded child, people's queen. And it was never the same thing because everybody is unique. But there was a thread of truth and a similar energy. And I found that people have often around 6 kind of archetypes on average, and 6 shadow archetypes. That's kind of what I found when I work with people. And this is what really shifted things when I really recognized that a lot of the parts of my genius were being held hostage by my shadow. And even though I could tune in and have a sense of that, it was something out there. It wasn't something I embodied and lived. So accessing your archetypes, so when I work with people, and this is what I do in some of my trainings, is we look at the 3 different aspects. So we look at your queen, empress, your leader archetype or energy. So that leader, the part of you that's leading, even the mother archetypal energy is a leader of your family. And we look at your goddess, the god, the goddess, the priestess. These archetypes are all about your connection to source. They're about your way of being. They're about your embodiment. They're the part of you that takes care of your nervous system and regulates you. So these archetypes are really important to embody. And a lot of us have wounding around our way of being, if it's a man or a woman, our sexuality can have a lot of wounding around it. That the essence of who we are being, these archetypes are the foundation, because this is where the feminine energetics comes in, when you can really hold this. So those archetypes are really key. And then you've got your leader archetypes, your king, your queen, your priestess, your empress, your emperor, your mother, your father, the parts of you that are they're integrated in masculine and feminine, but they're more masculine. Your goddess, your god, your lover, your priestess, your shaman, they're very much more in their feminine connection to source divine energy. Then the third one is your creator, creatrix. This is your alchemist, your healer, your medicine woman, your artist, your musician. This is you being a practitioner, a coach. This is you in your magic. Now, of course, your leader energy is going to come in there, and your goddess or shaman or whatever that may be is going to come in as well into your creatrix energy. But understanding these 3 aspects, and you can have multiple archetypes in those 3 areas, but when you really allow yourself to embody these aspects and reclaim them, because some of them might not be activated, and understand their purpose and feel them present in your being, it's extraordinary what can happen. And think about when you go, have you ever been to a fancy dress party and dressed up as a character, dressed up as, put a crown on, dressed up as a queen or a clown or a magician? It's like all of a sudden we can embody this other aspect that we didn't even know was there. My mum, for her 50th, had she changed the numbers around and had a 5th birthday party, and everyone dressed up as characters from like Alice in Wonderland or clowns, or it was like she had a children's birthday party for her 50th. We were doing egg and spoon race. It was so much fun, and it was like we all activated our inner child, and it was amazing. But it's like, how come that part of us isn't activated in normal life? It takes us to put on a costume. So when you connect with your archetypes, it's like you're putting on a costume. And what's powerful actually is to go, what does this archetype wear? What activates this archetype in me? So if I want to activate my empress, how does she dress? What does she wear? If I want to activate my king, if you're a guy, like how does a king hold himself? How does he move through the world? So really allowing yourself to start recognizing how you can activate these archetypes, because this is where there is so much power and magic in being able to really hold more of who you're here to be and what you're here to bring through, because it's the empress, the king, the queen, the leader archetype that will lead your business. And a lot of people are in their coach, their practitioner, their healer, and wondering why their business isn't going where they want it to go, because they're great when they're working with their clients, but that entrepreneurial aspect is not fully activated. Now, it might not be a fully natural part of you. So this is also where we need to align and receive support and have a genius team. I wrote a post today on social media all about this, about staying in your genius zone. And when you're in your zone, that means you activate all these parts of you. It doesn't mean you try and do all of your business. You stay in your zone and you align with your own magic. And when you do, you become magnetic. So when you activate all these archetypes and you're able to hold yourself in your power, you're able to shift out into your magic. And I feel like, Louise, part of what's wanting to be activated in you is your queen energy, is more of your queen and more of that leader. And a big part of it, if you think about a queen, if you think about our leader, we need a regulated nervous system. We need a strength and a resiliency to hold an empire, to lead a community. It's not just us. So the parts of us that are here to lead ourselves, our families, our communities, our businesses, our clients, whatever it is, requires more regulation in our nervous system. So this is really important, to be able to understand this and also recognize where the shadow is pulling us out of alignment and literally kind of holding our superpowers hostage. So I'm just going to have a look in the chat here. So Nikki says, I thought of myself as feminine, but have had to use very masculine parts to survive. I have carried this through in my relationship. My partner often asks my opinion, and I often stay in this position of leading. It's not sexy. Absolutely. And this is where the energy of the queen, the goddess, and so many of us, there's so much conditioning in society around these archetypes and around safety and how we show up in the world. So a lot of us are guarded, and our nervous systems are in a state that causes us, and we're going to go into this tomorrow, we're going to go into all the nervous system states, and I'm going to weave in the archetypes into the nervous system states tomorrow. So when our nervous system is dysregulated, and often we don't even know that it is, it's just normal, this is just who I am, this is how it is, this is how I roll, this is the way it is, that activates certain archetypes, often shadow archetypes sometimes, to be running the show. So a little bit like that part of you that's leading, that's your opinion, that's very, intellectual or understanding, is not in the soft, feminine, sensual, sexy goddess energy. And so the more we can regulate the nervous system, the more the goddess is activated. The more you're able to hold triggers, the more you're able to hold challenges, the more you're able to hold more clients, more money, more abundance, more everything, because your system is able to hold it. This takes time, this takes practice, this is part of our superpowers. And as we learn to, I'm getting a visual now of Frozen. So in Frozen, her superpower was so overwhelming to her. And it's a bit like our energy field, our nervous system gets so overwhelmed by the world, by life, by whatever is going on, by our internal traumas, by other people triggering us, by what's going on in the world. It's like, it's just overwhelming. And so our capacity and ability to regulate our nervous system is actually a superpower. And I believe it's one of the greatest superpowers that will support our ascension to 5D and beyond. And that ascension is a descension, descending into the body. It's bringing our soul and our light body and our energy field, that is all of our magic and our higher self, into our physical body. And that requires quite a lot of regulation and integration, because it's like, how can this contain something that is incontainable, and that is everything and energy that goes far beyond me? So it's like learning how we can regulate our human physical body and nervous system to hold the vastness of our genius, our magic, and our superpowers. That takes some practice. And one of the things that I have found that has supported my ability to do that and to expand me, what's possible, is being in group fields like this. It's being in a community of people that are devoted to their evolution, that are stepping into their power, that are evolving, that are growing, that are expanding. And witnessing other people's expansion activates us. It can activate us in two ways. One, it can trigger us and be like, why am I not doing that? Why am I not achieving that kind of income or impact? Or why does my brand not look as good as that? Or we can go, wow, that inspires me. If she can do it, if he can do it, I can do it. And it literally, it starts calibrating us. It calibrates us to another level of possibility and potentiality. And so one of the structures, one of the things that really supports us is choosing to align with that soul family, that soul tribe, and be in that environment. And I know for me, it's been life-changing this past year, it has for the last 7 years. I did that, and I was in an incredible community and came out of that to find my own path, and then discovered another level of embodiment, another level of light beings that are embodying their power and coming into this incredible alignment. And this is what is key. It's about alignment. It's about expansion. It's about embodying our magic and coming home to who we are. And more importantly, it's about us giving ourselves permission to be human, to not have it all together, to fall apart, to go into collapse sometimes, to be triggered, to not have our shit together all the time. It's like sometimes we've got to be okay with that, because we're learning, and it's part of the journey, because a lot of the spiritual community can spiritually bypass it all and be like, oh, it's all good. I know I'm light. I know I'm love. And, I know I did that for a while. Sometimes I didn't allow myself, I would shame myself for being human. I would shame myself and be like, well, if I'm not completely healed and in perfect health, then how can I be serving others? Which was just not true. We can have challenges in life. And the key is being able to hold it all, hold the shadow, hold the light, hold the rain and hold the sunshine, and know that you will receive your gold at the end of the rainbow. That is so important to really get, that when you hold it all, when you really allow yourself to be with the pain and the sadness and the triggers, and simultaneously you can be creating magic in another part of your life. And I've learned this. My biggest teacher for this has been my health. I have symptoms every single day. I have big limitations around what I can eat and how I, the freedom that I have to do things. And there was a time where it felt like it really restricted me, and other times where I just let it be what it is, know that I'm on a healing journey, and focus on my body is miraculous and all the other codes that I hold that allow me to create this kind of magic, because this is what feeds my soul. This is what brings me alive. This is what supports my healing. But I have to do it in a way that is not detrimental. So it's important that we're able to hold both and hold all of this. So something I do not allow myself, the freedom to be vulnerable. Absolutely. This is such a key, because it's one of our superpowers. Vulnerability is without a doubt one of our greatest superpowers. It's so, so important. So, okay, I'm just having a look at some of these points. Okay, so I'm just going to drop in with one more of you to connect, and then in the next session, so tomorrow we're going to be going into the nervous system more deeply, and we're going to be looking at how archetypes integrate and how they get activated, and how we can work to embody and connect and regulate our nervous system and activate more of our magic. And I'm also, I want to give you some more example of codes, and some of the codes that I hold, to give you a sense of what's possible. So I'm going to do this now before we go into next part, because then we've got 20 minutes. Okay, so one of the codes I hold around the nervous system is that a regulated nervous system is a portal to our power. So can you see how the words that I'm using and the energy of these are not compensating for anything? They're taking us to another dimension. And another one is that I continue to calibrate to the next evolution of my genius. Now this one, what this one allows me to do, I continue to calibrate to the next evolution of my genius. This allows me and gives me permission to practice my superpowers. It allows me to launch a masterclass within a week and not worry about how many people show up. Know that it's all divinely aligned, and that I'm literally coming out of a rebirth, and I'm just bringing myself back into the world. I don't have goals of numbers or figures or any of it. I'm just like, this is me shining my light. This is me aligning with the most beautiful people within a week. We've got 20 amazing, beautiful souls. We've got many who are going to watch the recording. And it's like, it gives us permission to be able to be on this evolutionary journey, that it's not about, I'm already here. I've fixed it. I've done it. I'm healed, or I'm broken. It's not about any of that. It's about giving yourself permission. I continue to calibrate to the next evolution of my genius. That gives me permission to be on the journey of always learning and growing and evolving, and not being like, oh, I should have done it. I've got there. If I've launched something, or, when you're launching something, or when you're doing something, or whatever it might be in your business, when you're going for something and it doesn't quite, if you let go of timelines keep us restricted into the 3D human realm and into your human. Your human has a timeline. In the quantum field, there is no time. So if you set a timeline, you could be completely restricting what's possible in that time by saying this much money, or this many people, or this thing in this time, when in the quantum field, if you come into alignment, you could have 10 times that. So really allowing yourself to be able to be with what is unfolding, and not trying to limit it through the egoic mind or the lack. So from lack, I need this. That holds a frequency of lack in it. So when we let go of that and come into alignment, now, of course, there's a certain amount of certainty we need, certain amount of income we need to pay the bills, certain amount of, safety and certainty we need to regulate our nervous system. So that's important. However, if we live our whole life in that field, I used to have a code that was, I have all the money I need, which I thought was an awesome one to have, except I never had more than I needed, because I only have what I need. So I never had lots of savings or lots of extra abundance or lots of money coming in until I changed that code. So sometimes the codes that we hold may support us at some point, and then we're still holding them when we've completely outgrown them, and now they're limiting us. So just as Louise's code, that is, I'm cracking the code, eventually it becomes a way of being, because then when Louise can hold that, she's cracked the code, and it's now liberation, freedom, and innocence is a way of being, rather than something that she's, unraveling still. So this is really important to get. Okay, so I'm just reading the comments here. Yeah, there's a lot of, there's a lot there, hey, Hajane, really wanting to be in that soul tribe, wanting to be vulnerable, wanting to show up, and feeling the frustration and the pain around all of that, and not being able to fully express that. It's a lot there, hey? Yeah, starting from a blank canvas. I love that, super powerful. Okay, so we've got 10 minutes. I just want to drop in for 5 minutes with someone, and I'm going to dive into genius archetype. And I am going to work with Catherine Fredette, who's just turned sideways. So Catherine, if you unmute, we're just going to briefly, because we've only got 10 minutes, so we're going to do this. And for those of you that have got your hand up, we've got another 2 days, so I'm going to be working and we're going to be diving into more. Hi, Catherine.
Hello.
Hello, where are you in the world?
Ottawa, Canada, like on the outside of Ottawa. So this is home.
Wow, beautiful.
Yeah, we're so lucky, so blessed. And I got 2 of my sisters here, my mom and my stepmom. 2 beautiful sisters, 3 of us watching everyone and connecting to the divine energy.
Beautiful.
Cool, eh? Yay!
Yay!
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, cool.
So Catherine, that's so when we were talking about archetypes, what feels like is something that is there for you that maybe feels like you want to connect more with, that feels like it's, you know, like kind of out there and you want to be embodying more of that? What came through for you when we were talking about that?
A combination, definitely the priestess, the alchemist, creatrix, like creating artist, the alchemist to help shift and that for myself, for people, for all of us, and entrepreneur, continue to develop the entrepreneur and hold big retreats and festivals and just, I don't know what it looks like, but I don't want to limit it. So
okay, so what I'm getting as you're speaking is the Empress, because I feel like your Empress is the part of you that can hold all of this, and she's like the conductor that is like, okay, so now your alchemist comes in, your creatrix, like she's the one that creates the divine brand that holds all of what you're here to bring, because it feels like you've got multiple gifts, multiple energies, multiple magic that you're bringing through, and your Empress will allow you to create a divine brand that holds all of you within it.
Yes.
Ooh, I got goosebumps.
Navigating all that.
Okay, so let's tune in to your Empress, and everyone can do this, and we're going to do some more of this tomorrow, but this is a great practice. So just allow yourself. So if everyone wants to drop in, I just want everyone to just drop in. Just close your eyes, and I want everyone to just choose to serve Catherine's heart with love and truth, and to receive information in service to her soul. And just allow yourself to firstly imagine a beautiful golden temple. And this golden temple has a beautiful baby girl in a crib. And just go in and look into her eyes, and she's looking straight into yours. And you start calibrating to innocence, in no sense. And just allow yourself, just for a moment, to let go of concepts, beliefs, definitions, anything you think you need to know or understand, and just allow yourself to calibrate to innocence. And just thank this beautiful baby girl as you step out of this temple. And as you come out, you are greeted by the beautiful Catherine and this golden circle that surrounds Catherine, which activates her Empress energy. And just allow yourself to step into this golden circle, step into and connect with Catherine's Empress, and just allow yourself to feel who that is. And you can do this for yourself, Catherine. Just feel the energy. Who is your Empress? What are the qualities? What is her purpose? What is she here to do, be? Just allow yourself to really be in that energy. And for those of you that are getting anything, just type it in the chat. If you don't get anything, don't worry, but just allow your intuition to reveal it. It might show you in symbols, visions. You might just get a sense of knowing. You might not even know how you know it, but you just get a something, and just type it in the chat. So what I get for you, Catherine, when I step into your Empress energy, is this leadership that is led very much hand in hand with what feels like your inner child. There's a lightness to your Empress energy that is humble and potent and deeply connected to your creativity. She's a leader, yet it's like you're so connected to humanity. It actually reminds me of Princess Diaries, actually, where she ends up leading this whole, it's like it's like that Princess Diana kind of energy, like you're so connected to the people. You're not like this, you're not like this queen, this empress that is in her castle and away from everybody and has just got people that goes out to see the people. It's like you are so connected to your human and to humanity. Mm-hmm. And your empress is here to bring the soul to humanity. Help humanity remember their soul, help humanity to remember their magic. And so your empress is here to create this incredible movement, to create this energy that allows you to be all that you are under one beautiful divine brand that leads you and leads a community, that brings people together. There's a natural energy that you have where you bring people together with ease, that you connect with people, that people connect and feel you. And so your empress is like one of her greatest gifts that she brings you is your ability to know who you need and to get support and get the structures in place that allow you to stay in your flow and in your magic. She's like the gatekeeper that does not let you cross your boundaries, that doesn't let you burn out, that she's the one that's like, I need a team, or I need this support, I need time out. Like she really is like that director overseeing all your other archetypes and like, okay, goddess, we need a goddess day. Okay, your inner child, she needs to play. Okay, the alchemist, it's time for some alchemy. We need to do some inner work. Okay, I need some support. I need to be in this kind of structure, or I need this person on my team. So she's really here to support all of you to work together as a team. And she's very much able to hold, and part of your empress is recognizing when your goddess and your other kind of mother archetype comes in to hold your shadow parts so that you can hold it all. Mm-hmm. So Nikki gets court jester, keeping it fun and leading with humor, lots of balls to juggle, but with lightness. You're also the magician that creates magical spaces and personas of yourself. Woo, I love that. Marlene says leadership. Leadership is a thing you've been thinking about. There's definitely a child energy that's coming through, incredibly loving, fired up, ribbon energy. So there's definitely this playful movement energy that's coming. Storm from X-Men. Woo, I love that. Teal color woman. Okay, so you could expand on that, Amira. It'd be great to see what that means to you. So what did you get in that space?
Me?
Yes. What did you get, Catherine?
Absolutely, all of that. Definitely. Just juggling it all and knowing that as much as I can, knowing that everything will be divinely guided and always is. Mm-hmm.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes. Absolutely.
It does resonate.
Yes. And she's the one that really holds, she allows you to hold it all. And she's like the one that really nudges you from within to recognize when you need to shift into your other archetypes. Mm-hmm. She's like, okay, right now you need to be more playful. We need to activate your inner child. Right now you need your goddess energy. Right now you need your alchemist. Right now you need to get support and bring some people in. It's like she's got you, And also when your shadow kicks in, when that partner might go, how can I do all of this? Or I'm confused or a bit overwhelmed. It's like connecting with your empress. And a way I do this as well, one of the ways I connect with my archetypes is often when I'm walking. Go for my walk in the morning, and I'll often connect with my archetypes, and it's like they'll then start guiding me with my next steps for the day. It's like I'll feel into, you know, what's here, what's wanting to be activated, what do I need, what's that guidance, and there's this connection to them that can come through when you connect with them. And you can also do it through journaling as well, which is also another great way to connect with your archetypes.
Okay.
And what would be also really cool is to feel into, how does your Empress dress? What does she wear? What activates her? So this would be a really beautiful practice for everyone, connecting with your archetypes. What activates the archetype that you want to activate more of? Yeah, so I'll talk about that in a second. So thank you so much for your showing up and being here and letting us tune into your magic. That was awesome. So you can read the notes in the chat as well once we've gone back to the group. So thank you.
Welcome. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Beautiful. So that is your homework, is to connect with the archetype that you feel may be suppressed or not fully activated. Share in the Facebook group which archetype you think that is and what you feel supports the activation of that, and also maybe a shadow one that you feel is pulling you. So you can share those. And of course, it will be great to share any of your codes that you feel you want to expand or that you feel are contracting you. So share in the group, and also read each other's, be inspired, support each other. And remember that when you show up, when you share in the group, when you watch whether you're watching the recording or you're here live, when you share in the Facebook group, you're going to go into a draw to win a one-on-one session with me, where I do a full-on reading into whatever you want to go into, archetypes, your codes, your shadow, your magic, whatever it might be. So when you share in the group, and also what would be amazing if it resonates and you feel you would love to do this, is to share on social media what you experienced in here. So your biggest takeaway, an aha moment, a light bulb moment that you had, and just share on social media and invite other people to join us, because we've got another few days. And the more of these things you do, the more entries you'll have in the draw to win one-on-one session with me. And in your email, you saw that there are some little things you can share on social, or you can do it in your stories, in your posts, however feels good to you. And we are going to be live same time tomorrow. We're going to be going into nervous system, the 3 states of the nervous system, how the archetypes lead into all of the nervous system stuff, how our codes limit us, and what happens in our nervous system that stops us being able to hold or even access bigger codes. So we're going to be going into and talking a bit more about trauma and nervous system and all that kind of stuff tomorrow. And you can tag me. So just tag me, Kelly Marie, on Facebook. And then my team will be able to track who has posted and shared and all of that magic. So you can tag me on Facebook, on Instagram. I'm Kelly Marie Evolution on Instagram, and Kelly Marie on Facebook. So you can tag me and share. And I'm so looking forward to diving into more magic tomorrow. So if the recording will be in the Facebook group, if it would be useful to watch it again, and all the recordings are going to be in there. And any questions, you can post them in. I'm going to put a question thread in the Facebook group, so that you can post any questions in there, and then I can weave them into the next 2 sessions for you, so that I can answer your questions that I didn't get to. In this session, I can answer them in the Facebook. I won't answer them in the Facebook group. I'll answer them live in the session, but I will connect with them in the Facebook group. So the Facebook group is the life codes, absolutely. So you've all been given access to that. So you would have got the email. If you haven't got it, or you haven't got access to the Facebook life codes Facebook group, then just send a DM to me on Facebook Messenger, and I'll get my team to send that to you. But I think you've all got that. We did have a little gremlin in the registration for some people. So thank you. I just want to share what Cecile said. When I stepped into the golden bubble, I got this vision of Catherine in a sari kind of costume, and she had her arms over me, and I was suddenly dressed like her. I love that. So here's a really cool thing about symbolism and intuition. So Cecile, if you allowed yourself to go, what's obvious about that in relation to Catherine is Catherine has the ability to activate your magic, activate other people's magic through her own presence, her own being, her own, you know. And that Sari energy has that real sense of priestess, kind of alchemist energy. So you know, that ability to be able to transform. So that's a really beautiful vision. Super tapped in there. Well done. I love it. Okay. Melissa, I got so much out of this teaching, especially the main archetypes. Excited to play with this. Yes, there's so much more magic to come. So we're going to be diving in deeper, and loving the call. Looking forward to listening to the recording. Awesome. I don't know who that is because it just says iPhone. So whoever your beautiful soul is, thank you for being here. Okay. Thank you, everyone. So see you tomorrow. Remember, share in the Facebook group, and remember, vulnerability is one of your superpowers. We are all here to support that energy, to support you showing up. The more you share, the more you activate, the more your magic will be seen. And this is also how you create connections. You never know, your next coach, your next client could be in this community, your next soul sister, your next soul brother, if there are any men that are going to join us. So just allow yourself to be seen, to share your vulnerability, your humanness, your magic. And remember, there's no selling, there's no promoting in the Facebook group, just allowing yourself to be real, to be vulnerable, to show up in who you are, and people will want to continue to connect. Oh, it's you, Marcia. Hi, beautiful sister. Okay, I'm glad you have loved this space. So let's just close the energy, and then we can complete for today. Oh, I'm sad it's over already. It went so fast. I'm glad we've got another 2 days. So just closing your eyes and just really thanking everybody's beautiful souls for being in this group field, and all the people that are watching the recording that have registered. You're also in the field. You're also part of this energy and this magic. And just thanking our higher selves and the quantum field for the space, and our energies for holding this, and the beautiful souls that showed up in their vulnerability and their realness. And just closing all the energies and grounding them into the earth. Oh, thank you. And just allow yourself to integrate all of this. This is part of the nervous system regulation, is really recognizing that we can hear it all, but sometimes it takes time to land and drop in. And this is where the homework and the sharing in the Facebook groups helps a lot of this to drop in as well. So enjoy sharing, enjoy connecting with each other in the Facebook group. I'll see you in there. I'll post a thread for you to ask any questions that you may have that I can integrate into the next 2 sessions. And I will see you same time tomorrow. And so grateful for those that do want to share your insights and experiences on social media and share this magic with people, because I really believe that this work around the nervous system and regulating this is so important, and it's so missing in a lot of teaching. So the more people we can get supporting and regulating the nervous system, the better world we're going to have. Sending you so much love, beautiful people, and I will see you tomorrow. Lots of love. Bye.